Daniel grew up on his own. His parents were always busy working and didn't care about the older child. Children from the younger classes were very afraid of him, because the boy often bullied them and also took money from them. But most of all, the boy drove one girl crazy. This girl had black hair and the same black eyes, and that's why she was nicknamed Gypsy. She had no parents and was brought to school by an old woman whose back was bent like a question mark. No one knew what the boy had done to the girl, but no one stood up for her because the girl had no friends at all at school. Once they even called the boy's parents to the principal's office after the boy tripped the girl and she fell and broke her nose. But that didn't help. On the contrary, the boy started to push the girl even harder. Once he even pushed the girl right in front of the old woman. And when the old woman began to scold him loudly, he just laughed because he knew she could not keep up with him. "Wait," said the old woman, "I know who will punish you." The next night, the boy had a dream. He and several other children were tied up on the stone floor. The boy was afraid, but he could not understand why. He turned his head to get a good look at someone he couldn't see, but he could hear their heavy breathing and eerie whistling laughter. The boy also saw a large wooden table stained with red and black paint. And behind the table, he could see the black belly of a furnace with flames roaring.
"It's not paint.
The boy suddenly realized.
It's blood."
The dream was terrible, but it was only a dream, and it was forgotten in the morning. The next night, however, the boy found himself in the same dream again. And he even began to guess where the blood on the table came from and why the fire in the oven was made. The boy stayed home all day. He was very afraid. At night he tossed and turned for a long time, afraid to sleep, but when he did fall asleep, he was even more afraid because he finally saw the one who was breathing so hard. He was huge and fat. His gnarled arms were covered with unhealed, bleeding wounds sewn with coarse thread. There was a mask on his face, but the boy immediately recognized the eyes behind the mask. He had seen such black eyes on the gypsy girl and the old woman who used to come to the school for her. The fat man looked at the children tied up on the floor and began to count aloud.
"People, creatures, I'm a ghost. Do you think that's all there's most?"
When the boy woke up in the morning, he quickly dressed and ran to school. He realized who could save him. He would apologize, he would beg them. He waited outside the school for 3 hours before it became clear that the gypsy girl would not come. Which meant that the old woman would not come either. And at night he found himself in the same dream again. The fat man was counting again, pointing his finger at the children lying on the floor.
"People, creatures, I'm a ghost. Do you think that's all there's most? Sticks and shadows, dark and deep. No one cares, I'm not theirs to keep."
All the next day, the boy tried to find out where the gypsy girl and the old woman lived. But the children looked at the boy and could understand nothing. None of them knew such a girl. Even the teachers shook their heads negatively, and the headmaster himself could not remember having called the boy's parents to school. And the boy's parents remembered nothing. And when the boy told them about the terrible dream, they just shrugged their shoulders and said that dreams are not real and nothing will happen to him. The boy lay in bed all night, trying not to fall asleep, but even with his eyes open he could hear the fat man continuing his counting song.
"People, creatures, I'm a ghost. Do you think that's all there's most? Sticks and shadows, dark and deep. No one cares, I'm not theirs to keep. Rats and worms, life's just a game. I fell, it's all the same."
When the light began to shine outside the window, The voice faded. The boy could hardly get out of bed. He wanted to sleep, but he knew he had to find the gypsy girl. He had to go back to school. We must ask the other children. Maybe someone will remember. And if they don't remember, the boy will go around the whole town, asking everyone, but he will still find the girl and the old woman. Because he already knew who the counting card in the dream was pointing to. The boy's parents had gone to work. And no one saw the boy fall asleep sitting on the bed with one pant leg pulled up. And even if someone had seen him, they wouldn't have been able to wake him up.
People, creatures, I'm a ghost. Do you think that's all there's most? Sticks and shadows, dark and deep. No one cares, I'm not theirs to keep. Rats and worms, life's just a game. I have fallen, it's all the same. Light and dawn, with silence near. You'll never wake up and disappear.